Well, hello there, folks. It's Mikhail here, back from a wonderful trip that I just embarked upon down in Southern California. I wanted to, hold on just a second, hit something here. Okay. There we go. Welcome. I wanted to be sure I was live on my YouTube channel. I bought this software that I'm working with called Melon, and it allows you to broadcast on my Facebook group and on my YouTube live platform for solutions for moving beyond struggle. So I just want to make sure it's running and people are able to access the information. So I will get started in just a few minutes. I have a question that somebody did ask me about that it's not going to be able to participate in the live. So I will kick off with that question shortly, and also to give you a little update on what's been going on. You know, last Sunday I co-hosted an amazing event down in Los Angeles for one of my spiritual teachers who's in the midst of retiring from teaching. I don't know what just happened here. I just heard some little voice. But let me hit record. All right. Sorry about that. I was telling you that on Sunday last week I co-hosted an event down in Los Angeles. You know, there were so many moving parts to it. I've done events, I've done parties, and this was going to be for about 100 people. And it was in a ballroom in a hotel out by the airport by LAX. So I had a lot of things to prepare for, and spinning many different plates for the last month. And the event was beautiful. It just executed smoothly. Everything went wonderfully well. I had a lot of feedback from those who attended. And it was just one of those stellar events that I look back now that I'm on the other side of it and think, wow, that was amazing. And it was also such an opportunity for all of us to contribute our love and our dedication and devotion to our spiritual teacher that was there during the event. So it was really an amazing experience. And then I did a road trip. One of my best buddies from Australia, from Perth, was in visiting and went to the event as well because he also follows the same spiritual teacher. And it looks like I've got Louisa here. Hey, Louisa, welcome. I'm glad people are able to get on here. I'm just getting started here in just a few moments, but just kind of sharing with people the last week. So anyways, as I was mentioning, there was lots to prepare. I had a lot of things to pick up down there. I couldn't do it ahead of time, and I had to fly down that Saturday. And then you start thinking about all the things that could possibly go wrong, with traveling, especially during a pandemic. So the numbers were increasing down there, and I was like, oh, my flight going to be canceled or delayed? And if it did, it would just kind of be a snowball of negativity. However, everything that I had planned from the time we got there all the way to the end of the event, which was a day and a half later, everything fell into piece like a beautiful mosaic or jigsaw puzzle. And I was very conscious of setting that energy in motion, expecting the positive things to happen, expecting things to be on time, knowing, and this is an important little key here, knowing and believing, since I've reprogrammed my subconscious mind, that everything always works out for me. Everything always works out for me. And that's something to repeat to yourself, to say over and over again, even if it, quote, isn't true right now. Because as you program it in your subconscious mind will do everything in its power to make that consistent once you've embedded that program into your consciousness. So allowing everything to work out for you is something that I've been saying for many years. And as I look back, in the beginning it wasn't true. It would like back and forth, off and on. But as I've learned to let go of the conflicts in my own consciousness that would impede, or the conflicts about myself, or the issues of where I wasn't loving myself and supporting and honoring myself, as I've healed and changed and grown through those processes, not only has letting go of the past in the struggle been something that started to just on its own evaporate and disappear. And then I started hearing from friends and family and colleagues and things like that, wow, man, you live a charmed life. Things just seem to fit into place. It wasn't always that way, is my point. It wasn't like I was born with a silver spoon or anything like that. I went through a lot of struggle. I went through a lot of self-punishment, self-judgment, self-repression. And I've had to consciously work through to clear out that. And as you do, as each layer of that onion called your past and the impact of your past has had upon you. You see, all of us have been impacted by the past, and what's real about the past, and it was kind of the focus of the last Q&A that I did. The last focus of the Q&A I did about 2 weeks ago was on letting go, freedom from the past. Today we want to focus on moving forward into the future, moving forward into the new adventure, moving forward in your life. And so that's the focus of the questions of not only letting go of the past, but then you won't, I believe, actually let go of a past, won't let go of old conditioning and programming until you have a vision, until you have a possibility anchored within your mind of where you're going and who you can be and become. To move from the disempowered into the empowered, to moving forward. You see, movement, you can move, movement is something that happens, and you can have movement without moving forward or moving anywhere or changing location. Movement is just, a moving energy. But moving forward implies that I'm moving and leaving a space that I once occupied into a new space. And so moving forward in your life is really about a dance between the past and the future. And that dance hinges upon the future is determined by who you choose to be in the present moment. And as each of us in every lifetime have prerequisites to focus upon, we have prerequisites of our growth. In each lifetime, we're here to learn to have fun and to consciously create success and to choose am I going to be in this lifetime. Am I going to be a product of the past, trying to fix and change the past, trying to improve upon it, trying to make up for it, trying to exonerate and vindicate myself from the past? Is that who I'm going to be? Which means I'm giving all of my attention to that and all of my energy. Or am I going to take my power back? Am I going to be empowered in this lifetime or disempowered? And who you choose to be hinges upon whether or not you'll learn to have fun and whether or not you will consciously create success. And that's one of the reasons I have put together an 8-week program on becoming your empowered self, to move through a journey of personal empowerment that allows you to integrate each step of the way. And the first step of empowerment begins by self-awareness. Who am I? It's hard to empower something you don't understand and you don't relate to and you don't have a sense of connection with. And unfortunately, when we have given our power away to the past, we are often locked and even rooted in behaviors and thoughts and feelings and opinions that others have formed perhaps about us that simply are not true. And so the first step of empowerment begins with self-awareness, but not just any awareness. It's not about I'm becoming aware of the schmuck that I am. No, it's about self-awareness that leads to self-acceptance. That's the first step. And that begins a journey that awakens new possibilities of a future destination that you can step into with ease, with elegance, with grace. And as you awaken to who you are, you recognize and realize the second step of the empowered journey, which is self-worth, that you are worthy. Because as you look beyond and you relate beyond just the ego, you discover your worth as a spiritual being. Because self-awareness is about being aware of your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual potential. And many will develop their physicality, their relationships with their family, with their friends, and they will develop a foundation of emotional intelligence and a mental awareness and a clarity of their mind and what they want and their goals and their desires. But if without this spiritual dimension, that can only take you so far upon the journey of empowerment. So the self-awareness that leads and opens up your awareness of your spiritual nature, your true nature, your eternal self, is pivotal in becoming empowered, and pivotal in the motivation to want to grow and to move beyond the past into the new adventures, to move forward into the new adventures that are not crafted or cultivated by the ego. but rather crafted and cultivated by your truer self, called your soul and spirit, by your higher self. And we have an ego, and it's a part of the journey, and it's the part of us that is the nemesis. It's the part that is the cause of all the resistance to change, of all the fear of vulnerability. It is the cause, it is the root of the resistance, and it is the cause of wanting to go back to what's familiar. You see, the ego loves what's familiar and is threatened or in jeopardy about the unfamiliar. Well, as I talk about in the previous weeks about being free from the past, it's almost like a baton, when you run a relay race, right? You're in the middle, right? It's your turn, you're running, right? Well, you had to reach back to the past to grab that baton, and you had to reach back, grab hold, and connect to the past to take your power back from it. And then you need to take that power that you lost from the past, meaning to tell yourself the truth of who you are, not who you've become, not who you've been conditioned to be, not the belief systems that were given to you by well-meaning adults and teachers and parents and other people, but to take that baton as you're in the present moment. And it's not enough to just keep running in the present moment, going around the hamster wheel. No, you need to have a vision of where you're going. You need to have that sense of a future that you can take your power from the past and connect, like the relay race, to that person in front of you to hand the baton, to hand your power to a future vision, to a future self that you are destined to be and become. Well, Mikhail, if I'm destined to be and become it, why bother? If it's going to happen, if it's my fate. I didn't say when, did I? I didn't say when it's going to happen. It will happen, whether it's in this lifetime or in 10 lifetimes from now or in 50 lifetimes from now. But it will happen because every one of us on this physical dimension as spiritual beings, every one of us is going to make it home. Every one of us will eventually wake up and choose to become empowered. And we will choose to create a life worth living, a life that is overflowing with joy and fun and freedom and abundance and prosperity, a life overflowing with success. But it all hinges upon who am I going to be and when am I going to choose to make that choice. And that is what changes the possibility of the future, and it changes not only who you are now or who you are becoming, but it also changes your relationship, your perception to the past. When you look through the eyes of your soul and spirit, rather than the ego that wants to blame and wants to feel powerless and wants to punish, when you can look through the eyes of your soul, you can see and understand the necessary steps that the past, even if they were painful, held for your journey coming home to who you are, and to help heal and change the consciousness of this planet. And I believe all of us are on that journey. And so the second step of the empowered self is about discovering your self-worth. The third step is about opening up and to expand into earning the love by the way you live your life, by the way you function with principles and values, emerging from that spiritual self, from your soul and spirit. There are principles of being loving, of being compassionate, of being creative, of sharing your light and your love with the world, about opening up to your spiritual gifts. And that can develop a foundation for the way you live your life with honesty, responsibility, integrity, and trust, to build a platform, a foundation to stand upon that motivates you every morning of who am I going to be today? I'm going to be a person who's empowered. Well, what does that mean? It means a person who is honest with themselves, most importantly, being honest with yourself about you and what you want and what you're experiencing in your life. And then to be honest with others, to trust yourself and to trust others, to have responsibility, to take responsibility for yourself and for the future you desire to create, and then to be responsible to respond to your reality versus just react. And as you cultivate honesty, responsibility, integrity, and trust, as you cultivate these, you have developed self-esteem that then lifts you to the fourth step of the empowered journey. And that fourth step is self-love. To discover absolutely the love of who you are, to discover the compassionate heart, and to move beyond the fear of vulnerability, the fear of humiliation, the fear of rejection or abandonment or betrayal, to transform that fear into a positive light, to be a loving person, to be a compassionate and caring person, and not at the sufferance of the negative ego's demand that means to be martyred. That means to suffer and struggle. You see, those old belief patterns from the past that you shed and let go of. What's imperative is to heal the past relationship that you've had about love and being loving, being compassionate, being kind, being empowered by that love. And so much of the love that most people have been taught and conditioned to believe is what love is suffering, is sacrifice, is struggle, is giving up, giving away, somehow diminishing yourself to prove to the world how loving you are. That's not the true empowered love that this journey reveals. And as you awaken that love, you think, oh, there I am, I've done it, I've made it to the top. No, you're only halfway there. Because then you begin, as you have developed self-esteem, awakened and remembered the love of who you are, you start to exude a light, a forgotten light that you can now remember, a truce within your very being. And you start to feel this bubbling energy of empowerment when everything you do, it's not just an affirmation that you have to say and chant and repeat. No, it's a part of who you are. And as you can do that, as you can explore that, as you can awaken to that, you develop and expand the magic of presence, as I like to call it. The magic of presence, having unstoppable self-confidence. So the awareness with acceptance leads to worth, to esteem, to love, and to confidence. And then from that confidence, you begin to look deeper into who you are. You look through new eyes. You start to reveal your spiritual gifts. You start to understand and see more clearly not only who you've been in the necessary steps of getting there, but you start to see the potential for the future, expanding your future self. Self-respect is what that's called. The sixth step in this empowered journey. And then out of that, this synergy, this blending together of awareness, of worth, of respect, of confidence, of esteem, of love, emerges empowerment, being fully empowered. It's called by many different names. Maslow talked about self-realization, self-actualization, being fully empowered, where you know who you are and you have access to the power beyond your ego. Not the ego's empowerment. That's the disempowered self. But the power that comes from within you, inexhaustible, unconditional, always present, the power of your spiritual being that you then wed and bring into a harmonic relationship with your ego. And not only does that energy heal and mature the ego, from an immature ego into a mature ego, from not feeling I'm enough to knowing you are enough, and functioning day in and day out on an empowered journey toward greater love, toward greater healing of yourself and others, and two, bringing a light, your unique expression and vibration into this world that still is enamored with thinking and believing itself as mostly dark. You can be that light to shift and change the vibration of those around you without ever uttering a word or teaching a class or doing anything, just by your very nature and presence. So that's the journey. And this topic that I'm talking about today, we're going to open up to questions in just a moment. I wanted to give people a chance to jump on here. It's about letting go of the past, and in order to truly let go of the past, you need to move forward in your life toward a future that motivates you, that challenges you, that stretches you beyond your comfort zone. Why, Mikhail, do I have to stretch myself beyond my comfort zone? Because that's just the resistance of your ego. And once you stretch yourself beyond it, you discover a joy by achieving that challenge, by becoming more. For growth, healing, and change is the greatest joy that you can encounter as you expand your consciousness in alignment with not only who you used to be, but in alignment more so with who you are truly, beyond the masks, the roles, beyond the limitations and conditioning of who you've become. Being in alignment with your soul and spirit is the grand adventure of moving forward in your life. We're going to talk about that. Now, certainly we can talk about the past as well, if anybody has any questions about that specifically. Let's see who's on here. Anybody have any questions? I want to see. I'm going to type in any questions, and I'm going to answer a question somebody who's not on here today, couldn't make it, emailed me this morning. All right. Any questions does anybody have? And I'm going to make sure here. We've got another 45 minutes or so. Hi there. Show on stream. Let's see. I'm still getting used to this. Would you say this is referred to as the law of attraction? You know, that's a great question, actually. And yes, it all ties into the law of attraction. You see, people think of the law of attraction as the end-all, the be-all. Just figure out the law of attraction. What do I have to do? What do I have to do to make the law of attraction work? What do I have to do? Give me the techniques. What is the writing? What is the affirmations? What is the gratitude I need to feel? What is the, what do I do? What do I do? But it all hinges upon the core vibration of who you're being. You see, if I'm being a person who's weak and a victim and blaming life and judging other people, that is a resonance that is silent, and it influences anything you try to attract. It's like the backdrop. It's like the foundation. If my foundation is weak and the backdrop is riddled with unresolved, hear this, riddled with unresolved conflicts about who I am in the past. In other words, if my motivation for learning and discovering the law of attraction, my motivation is to somehow fix or to change and to get better and to, I'm just saying that because I don't like who I am now, because I have self-repression and I have a lot of guilt that I don't want to deal with anymore, and I want to turn my back and run into this future, you got to clean up the energy, because the resonance of that is still inside of you, influencing even the gratitude that you're trying to feel. See, if I'm trying to feel grateful and I have this guilt inside of me that it's unresolved, then I need to eventually resolve the guilt. Because it is going to taint, it's going to color, it's going to influence my presence, my energy, and my relationship to the law of attraction. So a lot of people jump into the law of attraction thinking, well, let me just do these things, do. But let me stop and evaluate and look at, who am I being while I'm doing this? Am I coming from a place of self-love and self-care and self-support with a vision of what I want to become? And is that vision, as I hold an idea of something I want to manifest and create through the law of attraction, do I feel gratitude, or am I going into guilt? Do I feel undeserving? See, those are clues and hints that there's still some unresolved resonance, some energy that maybe by focusing on the law of attraction, it brought to your consciousness. It brought it to the surface, not to punish you, but to say, hey, in order to get that, you need to deal with this feeling of being powerless, this feeling of fear, or this feeling of undeserving. Does that make sense? So yes, focusing on what we've been talking about so far this morning is key and critical to allowing not only to move beyond struggle, but the struggles that you have about the law of attraction, the conflicts in consciousness that would inhibit or impede or slow down the process of manifestation. So good question, yes. I would say this is referred to the law of attraction. And everything I do teach pretty much refers to that, because it's one of the ways that we create our reality. We create our reality by causing it, which is what most people think when somebody says you create your own reality. They think, okay, yeah, well, I didn't cause this cold. I didn't cause that accident 2 weeks ago. I didn't cause all the negative stuff. And I didn't sit down and visualize and inhale incense to try to make it happen. It happened. Yeah, because you also create reality by allowing, by attracting. Because I have 10, 20, 30, 40 years of repressed anger or feeling like a victim. So therefore, I have this self-pity in me that I haven't dealt with since childhood. And that resonates and says, I've got to be a victim in life because it's a part of my being, until I go in there and clear it, heal it, change it, and transform it, until I do the inner child work, until I process through and lift my vibration to an octave that is no longer in alignment with pity. And then I don't have to attract and create reasons to feel sorry for myself. See, most people aren't conscious of that. They're doing it, and they're doing it so they can be conscious of it, but they're so fixated on what do I have to do and not stopping to focus on who am I going to be, what is the energy I'm bringing into this technique of the law of attraction. So, and what I teach people in Soul-utions is to move beyond struggle. It's about bringing harmony, peace, and balance within your being. And who you're being is something you can always make the choice to decide upon, regardless of outside circumstances, regardless of what's happening in your life. Who am I going to be? Am I going to react, to judge, to blame, to punish, to withdraw love, to shut down, to hide? Those are wonderful methods of the ego that says that'll solve the problem. Just go hide in the corner. That'll solve the problem. Just judge and punish. That'll solve. We know that is not an answer to any problem. All it does is it delays, or at best, or creates an avalanche of negativity at worst in the near future. It postpones. It doesn't resolve and heal. But as you can understand, who am I going to be right now? I'm going to take my power back from the ego that says I should hide. I'm going to take my power back. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary for me to not do what I've always done. It's scary. It's unfamiliar. But it's a requirement for your growth. I mean, think about it. From the time you were little, you were eager to experience things new. When you were in your twos, the terrible twos, right? They were often called, when you're getting into everything, trying to discover yourself, realizing that you're free from mother, no longer umbilically connected to her. You discover that you have your own thoughts and feelings, and you start to explore. And you want to experience everything. That's moving forward in your life. You're moving into the alignment with your destiny of growth and evolution, from this little infant to becoming a toddler. And you're wanting to taste everything and touch and put everything in your mouth and explore and put your finger in the light socket. And, everything is like such a curiosity to that little child. You have no inhibitions. And yes, parents had to protect you, right? And they often admonish you to keep you in line, to instill fear, to slow down. Don't go do that. Don't run out into the street. Don't talk to strangers, blah, 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 blah. And you slowly lost that movement, that desire to move beyond your comfort zones. And you decided, I need to conform and fit in. I need to get approval and praise. I need to make sure mommy and daddy are happy, or whoever. And you slowly went into a place over the years. Didn't happen overnight. It happened slowly. You gave your power away. You set down your curiosity. You said, no, just go and do what is familiar. I can relax. Now, if I start saying something that, is a creative thought that I've never thought, and I share it with other people, they might reject it. They might humiliate me. I might humiliate myself. So I slowly erode my freedom. I slowly go into a safe space that isn't developed from your higher self, but a safe place called mediocrity, called fit in. Shut down. Don't be too creative. Don't express your feelings. Especially little girls, don't express your feelings. Just be polite and look nice and sit pretty on the couch. Don't speak up, look pretty. It's what you're taught and conditioned to do. And when you've bought into that lie, and you're 20, 30, 40 years later, you have difficulty expressing yourself in that board meeting. You have difficulty sharing, and you don't understand why. It's because there's a part of you locked in the past that needs healing. And so who am I going to be is so important. And when you shift and lift your being from being powerless to being empowered, from being afraid to being willing to challenge your fears, from being controlled to being more vulnerable and open, to being loving and compassionate, rather than going into apathy and self-doubt. When you can shift from that, you change your vibration, your resonance, and you align with your soul's energy. And your soul's energy is so much grander than you are. And when you can align with it, then when you want to create and manifest something, you have this reservoir of energy that you can direct your mind and focus and manifest and create much more rapidly than you would when you're just coming from the disempowered self. So when you can understand this dynamic of who am I going to be right now, today, in that meeting tomorrow morning, who am I going to be tonight at dinner when I go out with friends, to be conscious and to choose, I'm going to be open, loving, present, connected. I'm going to be listening and responding from love. I'm going to be a person who's in alignment with their principles and their values. That's something you can choose regardless of where you're at and what's going on in your life. And that also is where the journey of empowerment begins, by that choice to choose, to move beyond the comfort zones of the past, to move beyond the mediocrity, and to step more fully into your power, to step into your grace that you once knew as that little toddler that is curious and exploring the world, feels invincible, totally invincible, because it knows on some level it's immortal. Why do kids feel so invincible? Nothing can hurt them. Because they remember the truth of that statement. And as a spiritual being, genuinely, truly who you are, you know that nothing can hurt you. Even death in this lifetime doesn't hurt you, the eternal spiritual being that you are. So that's why the eternal youth of the child feels so invincible, because they know that they're a spiritual being on some level. They haven't thought the words, and certainly church didn't teach them that. And even though they slowly give their power away, a part of you knows, a part of you remembers. And so much of what I am here to do in my quest, my destiny of expanding consciousness, is helping people not only remember who they are, but give them the tools to help accelerate the process of becoming who you're destined to become, that empowered spiritual being. So let's see if there's any other questions, folks. I want to take a sip of my coffee here. I got another Facebook. I think I showed that. All right. That's great. So that's a good question. Does anybody else have another question before I answer the question from my friend? My friend who, let me get the question here. Where did I write? I wrote it down. She emailed me this morning, and she was asking about. Let me see. I don't have my glasses on. She said, "How would you move more forward? How would you move forward in your life more elegantly, so that you can discover greater abundance and prosperity? So how could you move forward more elegantly so you could experience greater abundance and prosperity?" Well, that's kind of a generalized question, but specifically I want to answer that in a way that helps people on here who are listening now and maybe who have replayed this live stream. And that's part of my intention, is not just to answer a question for the one person, but to also answer it where it can be helpful for others. So how do you move forward into the adventure? How do you move forward? As I mentioned, movement, you can move without moving forward. You can move in the same spot, standing still, movement. But moving forward implies moving into the future, moving into new experiences. Moving forward isn't about going back to what you already know. It's about moving beyond what you already know and expanding into the unknown. So moving forward in your life and moving towards greater abundance and prosperity, I believe, hinges upon owning the value of what you have to give to yourself, what you have to share with others, and what you have to present to the world. So to move forward, in order to align with greater abundance and prosperity, as that question is specifically moving in that direction of moving forward towards that. You see, if I feel worthless, the second step on the empowered journey, if I don't feel I deserve that state of being, then I'm not going to move forward. At best, I'll move a few inches forward, then I'll retreat back, or I will sabotage myself, or I will shut down. But as I can own and reclaim my value, to discover and become aware that there's no other being on this planet who's ever been or ever will be who's the unique expression of the divine that you currently inhabit and exhibit and express. You have talents and gifts. You matter. and you are valuable. And you see, without that being, a foundation of being, then moving forward, and many people who move forward are trying to move forward from the ego. And the ego that says, well, if I achieve this success, well, if I accomplish this new relationship, if I find that person to love, if I achieve that raise at work, if I get that stuff, then I will feel valuable. Then I will feel worthy. Then I'll know that I matter. And see, that's the ego that puts the cart before the horse. Thinking as soon as I get the stuff, this illusion, then it's going to cause me to feel this way. And it does for a split second. But you see, it involves struggle and conditioning and manipulation and control and domination in order to try to make the reality change without you changing how you feel about yourself. But when you can change, you can experience a whole different level of your growth. You can change and you can experience a whole different level of your empowerment. And so to move forward towards greater abundance and prosperity, you need to remember the truth of your value, that you matter, and to feel it, and to resolve any conflicts from your child, your adolescent, the past, that might be believing a lie still. I need to go back and re-educate my child, my adolescent, to let them know that they matter to you. And if somebody in their childhood, in your childhood, didn't make them feel they mattered, to heal and to resolve that. There's lots of ways to do that through inner child work, or working with a counselor, or working on yourself. But that would hold you back from generating the energy of value. And when you can feel valuable, when you can own your worthiness, when you can step into that, you can unlock a level of confidence of your being. And you can share abundantly what you have to offer to the world. You see, we all have an abundance. Some people have an abundance of anxiety. Some people have an abundance of self-doubt. Some people have an abundance of control. But that abundance, that excess, doesn't serve you. And that's the abundance of the immature ego. However, you have an abundance of creativity, an abundance of vision and imagination. There's nothing holding you back from imagining new futures, to open up, to expand new possibilities. You have an abundance of an emotional range, from anxiety, fear, and loneliness, all the way to joy, freedom, happiness, and well-being, and love, and compassion. You have this huge opportunity to tap into the abundance of your soul, and here's the key for that: as you are a person who's being, feeling, resonating with abundance, then you bring that energy into every action that you take, every action, every email, every reaching out, every job interview, every opportunity there. You bring your being in alignment with your soul into that job interview, versus the abundance of your ego that is self-doubt and worried and trying to get, what am I going to get from this job rather than what I can give. And when you can shift from getting to giving, when you can shift from knowing you are enough, from feeling not enough, to knowing that you are enough, when you can shift and lift to that higher frequency, then any action you take is going to have more positive impact. It's going to align with more with what you do want versus what you don't want. And so that's the key for moving forward in your life toward greater abundance and prosperity, is to look at your worth. What do I feel my worth is? Do I feel worthy of having abundance and prosperity? And if not, and if I feel guilty, or if I feel I don't deserve, let me work on clearing those parts out. Let me work on healing and shifting that. So why? What's the point? So I can lift my vibration, so that I can feel and know the truth that I am a valuable, worthy, empowered spiritual being who has set my power down perhaps, but I'm taking it back. I'm learning to take it back. I'm incorporating it. I'm integrating my power. And I'm getting used to the uncomfortability, because I have an old image of feeling like I'm somehow less than. I need to move beyond that uncomfortability to expand into the truth of what I've always deep down known. And that involves courage, doesn't it? It involves moving beyond what you've been taught and conditioned. It involves updating updating your mental emotional software. And so that question about how do you move forward towards greater abundance and prosperity, specifically look towards the areas of your value and your worth. Look towards that and look with the intention of what do I need to heal, what do I need to release and let go of, and what do I need to embrace more of? What do I need to step into? Perhaps my courage, perhaps greater confidence, perhaps owning and retrieving my power. What does it mean? What is my power based upon? Is it based and rooted in an ego of getting power over, of dominating, of taking, of blaming? The power of the, quote, negative ego, the immature ego, is the power that's most demonstrated in our world today. It is the power most demonstrated. And we think and believe, until we have redefined it, we think and believe, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be powerful and be that kind of greedy and, all the definition twisted and distorted by the ego. And so you abandon the baby in the bathwater, thinking, I don't want to be powerful because I don't want to be that way. Well, maybe there's a different power. Maybe there's a new power. Maybe there's a power that has been undiscovered called the power of your higher self, your soul and spirit, the power of love, the power of perception, the power of imagination, the power of creativity that has nothing to do with any other person outside of you. It's not about manipulating others or being manipulated by them. It's not about controlling others or being controlled by them. It's about generating who you are and bringing that light, knowing that when you do this, you will begin to attract the right people. You will begin to attract those people in alignment with the goals that you seek, with the connections that you offer. And so it's a different form of power. The power, there's a name for it. It's the power of dominion, which if you look even in Genesis in the Bible, that's what the promise was, the original promise. God, Goddess, all that is, made the land of Eden. And it was a world of dominion. Talks about dominion right there in the Bible. And because we stepped out of the garden, and the ego part of us, we gave our power away to. Didn't take it from us. We gave our power away to the ego too. And there's a reason for that, because we need to discover what it's like to be powerless. We need to experience both sides of the coin in this world of duality. So we gave our power away to discover and to become, quote, less than our potential, and to discover and to clarify what we really truly want through the contrast, through the opposite. And once you discover and understand that, then you begin to retrieve your power, and then you take your power back from that of domination of the ego. So the power of domination is something that you are all well versed in. And in order to change not only yourself, not only your relationships, not only your future from a disempowered destiny to an empowered destiny, but even more than that, to change and have positive impact in the world, to change the evolution of the planet, hinges upon you choosing to function with dominion. And that begins by understanding that the power you've been seeking outside of yourself has always been within. Remember the Wizard of Oz? She always had the power. Why that was such a archetypal and powerful story is because it is the journey of the ego. If only I had a heart, if only I had courage, if only I had. The if onlys of the ego, and on a journey of trying to find someone to give it to you, to Oz, to discover at the end that you've had the power all along. And that's where the journey begins, when you discover that, because then you no longer are out there trying to manipulate and control a reality and other people to get what you want, but you creatively generate the resonance and the energy of what you want, and then you attract and bring it to you with little or no effort at all. That's dominion. So domination is something that we all function in. And to be empowered, to be on the journey of empowerment, is about shifting the foundation of your power from domination into dominion. What does that mean? From believing the world's out to get you, the world's an unfriendly place, you've got to fight and conquer and battle, to believing the world is there to love and support you, that there are people and everyone on this planet is a spiritual being, and to shift from the world of being an unfriendly, hostile environment to the world is there to love and support you. Well, Mikhail, that's not true. I only see a world out to get me. Yeah, because you're looking through the eyes of domination. But when you can take your power back, and when you can step into the truth of who you are and start changing your being, coming from a place of being empowered, choosing the true power of your soul, then you start to see and attract the love, the joy of receiving love and of being loved. And you start to discover that, yeah, I can create in my own little world, my little set, my little bubble, a world that is friendly, a world that's there to love and support me, a world that's there to help me to grow and become all that I can be in this lifetime. I can generate that energy. And it starts out with just your personal environment, perhaps your home, and then into your neighborhood. And then it continues to expand into your work and into your relationships. And it continues to expand exponentially until you create a set of living in a world of dominion where you feel safe, where you know that you are more empowered and that you have the wherewithal to shift and change the illusion around you. And that's a different form of power. And it also leads to a different future. Moving forward, so this focuses upon moving forward to your empowered destiny, moving forward in your life is about letting go of that baton of the past, relinquishing that, taking your power back and giving it to the future that you desire, giving it to a future. And what powers from the past have you lost or forgotten? The first one is the power of dominion. The power of dominion. The power of curiosity and exploration and adventure that you had as a child, that you sat down to conform, to fit in, to not rock the boat, especially if you're in it. To not rock the boat. You gave up these things. And so the journey of not only what I teach with solutions for moving beyond struggle, but what many other people are also teaching in their own way is about a new world. Your personal new world. Your personal evolution. Your personal metamorphosis from the caterpillar into the butterfly, which begins the grand journey, which is a movement forward that you can be destined to fulfill. And it hinges upon the choice of who am I going to be. So let's see if there's any other questions here so far. Don't see any other questions, I don't believe. So hopefully what I've been talking about so far has been a bit in alignment with what you're looking at and experiencing in your own life. And it's already 12:17. So let's do a meditation. Let's do a short meditation. I don't have any other questions, I don't believe. Let me look over here. Nope. I don't think I have any other questions. So let's do a short meditation. This meditation will help you to connect more deeply with yourself. And as you connect more deeply with yourself, and that we're all on that level connected to each other, this meditation can help you to not only connect more deeply with yourself, but to connect more deeply with others. So go ahead and take a long, slow, deep breath in. And as you take that deep breath in, your eyes still open, take a long, slow, deep breath in and lift your eyes up, looking up through your forehead as if you're looking through your eyebrows, creating a stretch now, holding that stretch, your eyes still up, holding it. Now exhale and let your eyes slowly close. And let your eyes easily and comfortably relax. Shifting your attention and your awareness inward from the outside world of the illusion around you to the more real, the world of your imagination and creativity, the world within you, contained of attitudes and beliefs, thoughts and feelings. Let yourself shift inward as your eyes are quietly closed. Take in a second long, slow, deep breath. And this time behind closed lids, move your eyes over towards your right ear, stretching the tiny muscles of your eyes as you inhale, filling your lungs, holding your breath, holding the stretch. Now exhale and let your eyes relax. Let your eyes go back into the center, behind closed lids, comfortable, quiet, and at ease. And now, as you feel the tiny muscles of your eyes completely relax, let the relaxation move into your jaw. Let your jaw muscles soften. And if there's tension in your muscle of your jaw, then move your jaw back and forth a few times to break the grip of tension there. And then just let your jaw become quiet and still. And now take in a third long, slow, deep breath, this time stretching the tiny muscles of your eyes as you look towards your left ear, taking in, filling in your lungs with oxygen, filling your lungs up, holding the tension in your eyes, holding the stretch behind closed lids. Now exhale and relax. Let go and exhale, and let the money muscles around your eyes soften and become quiet. Let your eyes relax. Letting go, letting go, letting go. And finally, one last deep breath in, the fourth deep breath, filling your lungs with life-giving oxygen that blesses and refreshes, lifting your eyes back up towards your forehead, this time with your eyes closed, lifting and stretching, holding the tension, holding it, filling your lungs. Now exhale, relax. As you exhale, let your eyes slowly go back into the center of your face where they belong. Let the eyes that were stretched upwards simply surrender to the relaxation. Let it relax, the tiny muscles. And as the relaxation expands up and over your forehead, across the sides of your face, into your ears, through the scalp, and the energy behind your neck relaxes. You feel any tension in your neck, your throat, relax and let go. Feel any tension evaporate and disappear, letting go, letting go. And I want you to imagine or just pretend that you're standing outdoors on a pathway, a beautiful pathway after a torrential rain. And the earth is moist and like quicksand almost. It is thick, and your feet are buried beneath the earth. Your feet are buried about ankle deep in this mud, and you feel the resistance to moving forward as you sense yourself standing, and you look up and you see the sun coming out from behind the dark clouds after the rain has subsided, and you smell the moisture in the air, the humidity of a warm summer day. And as the rain has ceased and you stand there in the mud, your feet covered in mud, anchored, resisting moving forward, you feel and you will acknowledge that where you stand right now, there is resistance to moving forward. There is resistance. And you look up into the clouds, the dark clouds that are giving way, and you sense the sun, the light of the sun breaking free, dissolving the cloud and shining down upon your face. You feel the warmth, the palpable being kissed by the sunlight itself upon your face, and you feel the warmth enveloping you, calling you, urging you to move, to take a step forward. Even though it's difficult to move your feet forward, you exert the energy as you call upon your higher self, your soul and spirit, and that light expands, and you feel that light filling you, absorbing into the pores on the surface of your skin like a sponge, absorbing this light, feeling the energy expanding and increasing and building inside of you, building determination, building a perseverance and a desire to move forward. And so you feel that energy absorbing into every cell in your body, and you find the motivation, and you pull that dominant leg forward, and you lift it out of the quicksand, out of the sand, and you pull it forward, stepping into the sand in front of you, stepping forward, and you pull the remaining leg out of that dormant position. You pull it forward, lifting up and out with effort, with struggle. You pull it out, and you step on higher ground, a little more solid, but still covering your feet as you step forward. Another step, moving out of the doldrums, moving out of the resistance, stepping forward with effort, focused on a future of being energized and motivated and filled with the energy of soul and spirit. You step forward until you step onto solid ground. You step up onto solid ground, still damp from the rain, but no longer holding you back from the past, stepping upon a solid rock, a ground rooted in rock, solid, strong, and your feet covered in mud and dirty. You step forward and you move upon this path now, moving quickly with elegance and ease, moving forward with no issue, no resistance now, feeling freed from that stuck position. You move forward until you've come upon a stream, a beautiful mountain stream in this beautiful setting after the rain. The stream is filling and gurgling and moving forward quickly over there. Yes, you see it there. You have to step down upon a few rocks to get next to the stream, the creek that is flowing with clear, crystal mountain water. And you step down, your muddy feet leaving footprints on the rocks as you step down, trailing and leaving the residue of the past behind you. And you step upon the soft, large pebbles that border this stream, and you step down into the cool, clear mountain water, and you feel it between your toes, washing away the residue of the past, washing away the mud, the muck, the mire, the doubt, the fear, the insecurities of your past. You even feel and sense the clothing, if you have legs that are covered with jeans or clothing, becoming wet and being washed away. All this, the muck, the mire, all of this dirt tracked upon your feet, now cleansed as you step upon the soft stones in the shallow water of this creek, as it moves and carries forward and washes away the residue of the past. Your feet squeaky clean now, the clothing upon your legs clean and cleansed from the past. You step across this stream, you step across this creek. The water is cold, it is flowing, and it feels refreshing, and at the same time wants you to move forward more quickly, to step on the other side of this stream. And there is a path, a dry, clear, solid path of stones built from the earth, and you step out. You step out of the creek upon the other shore, and it is dry and warm and comfortable, and it feels somehow safer on the other side of this creek. You feel and sense the warmth of the sun all around you. The clouds have evaporated and disappeared. There are blue skies, a canopy of blue stretching above you, and all of the greenery and foliage and the flowers, the wildflowers and the trees are rinsed free from the previous rain, and they are growing and glowing with nurturement and nourishment from that last rain, feeling revived and rejuvenated. And you step there upon a few stones, moving out from the riverbed, from this creek, from this stream, and you move forward up into the valley, stepping forward easily into the green grass that grows tall. You step into the green grass and you feel the warmth of the earth beneath you. And you find a large, beautiful broadleaf tree up ahead. You see that broadleaf tree, and there's a shade underneath it. And you step forward until you lean your back upon that tree, and you sit upon the ground, leaning your back upon this broadleaf tree, large, beautiful tree, as you sit in the shade, leaning back, feeling the support of the trunk of that tree. You lean back and you relax, closing your mental eyes to this beautiful meadow, for you have crossed over from one set to another, letting go of the resistance, the inertia of the past, having pulled yourself out, cleansing, clearing, letting go of the residue and stepping upon a new land, the soft green grasses, until you found this tree to rest upon, to rest in its shade and its bounty as you lean back, as you relax, as you let go. You feel the coolness of the shade, and you feel safe, protected, relaxed. As you lean back and close your mental eyes, you allow yourself to absorb the energy of the tree, to feel and sense your energy, your auric field blending with the tree trunk and the roots beneath you. You feel the earth and the grass. You feel the solidity, the solidness of the earth element supporting you on a journey. As you lean back behind closed lids, you make a choice, a new decision to explore, to uncover, and to retrieve the power that you once had and that you gave up and you let go of, to retrieve and to call back the energy from your past, to call it back from those relationships, from those experiences, from those traumas or tragedies, from those triumphs from the past. You call back all of the energy, and you sense little sparkles of light, little sparks of light coming from all directions, coming back towards you as you rest underneath this shade in the tree. And you feel these little sparkles of light coming from all of the energy you've scattered are being retrieved as you ask your higher self, your soul, to help you to call back the energy, known and unknown, labeled and unlabeled, calling it back, feeling and sensing it, building, moving into your heart, into your solar plexus, into your throat, little tiny sparks of light coming back. Don't be concerned about what they represent or what they mean. Just feel the energy, knowing that this is energy that belongs to you, that was once in your possession, that you abandoned or gave up or gave away. And as you call it back, as you retrieve it, you feel it building inside of you, as your light grows brighter in the shade beneath the tree, as your light expands brighter, and your auric field, your energy field, illuminated and blending with the tree, as you bring your light, your auric field, not only into the tree that you lean upon, as the tree begins to glow and grow and expand its growth, you feel the ground beneath you, the earth absorbing your auric field, absorbing some of this light that you emanate. You're not giving this light or this power away to the tree or the earth, but you're holding on to it. You're holding on to that light, and you're sharing it with the tree, with the earth. And it illuminates and glows and expands. And you feel your own inner power expanding as you share your light with the tree and with the earth. And as you hold on to your power, you hold on and you feel that light expanding, not only physically into every cell within your body, but also expanding into your emotional body, expanding into your emotional body, expanding into your mental, expanding into your spiritual being, letting the light turn brighter and brighter. Until you feel connected to the loving Mother Earth, supporting every step of your journey as you move forward into a future with greater power, of greater presence, of prosperity, of joy, of freedom, to sense, to acknowledge, and to choose the future you desire, the healing, the freedom, as you let it in. And in just a moment, I'm going to count familiar numbers from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, taking a deep breath in, opening your eyes, coming back. Coming back slowly, easily. Your mind clear, focused, your energy rejuvenated, expanded. At the count of 5, 1, coming up slowly, 2. At the count of 5, 3, 4, and 5. Take a deep breath in, opening your eyes, coming back. A short meditation. A short meditation that you can repeat on your own. I know there was some outside noises. I have my window open over here, and I guess some loud truck decided to come and do some moving today. So I'll probably most likely re-record this meditation. But to delineate it, to give you a map that you can follow without having to re-listen, is that you close your eyes and you do some mental stretching of your eyes. You look up with your eyes open, holding the stretch, taking in a deep breath, holding your breath, and as you exhale, you relax, closing your eyes. You begin the point here to stretch. And as you relax your eyes, as you lift your eyes up, you get a burst of alpha brainwave levels, which is the meditative state. Then with your eyes closed, you took another deep breath, looking over towards your right ear, holding the tension, holding the stress, and relaxing it. Then to the left, holding it, repeating the same process, breathing normally in between each of these stretches. And then the final deep breath, the fourth deep breath, is then to look back up, this time with your eyes closed, to create stress and tension in your eyes. And then as you exhale and relax, you are entered into a very deep state of consciousness. It is the triangulation of the eye movement, and it is the tension held in the eyes and then released, the tension held and released that can quickly bring you into alignment with deeper levels of awareness. And then I had you recognize and realize suddenly that you're out in nature after a rainstorm, a thunderstorm, a lot of rain, torrential rain just finished. The clouds are clearing, and you're standing in mud, covering your feet. And whether you're in shorts and it just covers your feet, or whether you're in long pants, it's there on the bottoms of your jeans or your clothes. But you can't move, you feel stuck, it's difficult, I can't move forward, but you muster the energy, you ask for help. And as you ask for help, the sun breaks free from the cloud, and you absorb the light of your soul and spirit, absorbing it through the pores on the surface of your skin as you are re-energizing your life force energy, calling upon the energy of your soul and spirit to help you to move forward in your life. And then you finally, struggling a bit, trying to pull free, you have to give some of that your own personal will. It's not enough to say, do it for me, lift me out. No, I'm gonna work together, and I'm gonna do my part, and I'm gonna pull and lift my dominant leg up and out of that quicksand like mud to step forward, and then the other leg, and move forward. And I feel myself now gaining momentum, moving out of inertia onto more solid ground. Each step becomes more solid, and I'm walking, trailing behind the past, the mud, the muck, the shame, the pain, the guilt, the undeserving. I'm still tracking it forward as I move forward on this path, and the sun is starting to expand. The plants are absorbing the water from the rain, and there I see along my pathway a little creek, a little river, tiny short creek with boulders and with rocks, and I step down towards that river to cleanse my feet, and I step upon the soft, smooth, rounded stones as I step down, and then I step into the ice-cold water of this mountain stream, and it rinses and cleanses all that muck and mire, the dirt. It even cleanses my jeans or my clothes that are maybe surrounded in muck as well. And you just let it go, and you walk upon the stones inside of that riverbed on that creek to the other side, and then you step out, your feet cleansed and clean on more solid ground that is clear. There's grass, and you step upon the grass and you move up, and there you see a broadleaf tree, beautiful tree representing your tree of life. You might not know what that means. It doesn't matter whether you know or not. Your ego doesn't need to know, your soul does. And then you make your way into the shade underneath this large, beautiful tree, comforting, quiet, peaceful, serene, representing more of your true nature. And then you lie down, sitting next to the tree with your legs out in front of you, leaning your back upon the trunk. And then you call back the energy that you've scattered, asking your higher self and soul to help you. You don't need to know what it's coming from, but just sense energy coming towards you. Little sparkles, like sparks of a, firefly of a, little sparks coming in and gathering and pulling it in, breathing it in, letting yourself retrieve the energy, known and unknown, named and unnamed. Just call it back. Knowing your higher self, your soul's helping you. They know what needs to be retrieved. And then you gather that energy. You gather it and let yourself feel filled, fully filled with the light, the energy of what you've taken back from the past. It's not everything you need to take back, but it's enough to set this in motion, to give your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind, a very clear message. I'm setting myself free from the inertia, the limitations of the past, and I'm cleansing, clearing it away, and I'm stepping onto new ground, into a new set, crossing the river, leaning upon the tree of life and calling back my energy. And then you feel yourself glowing and growing with light. You sense that energy moving not only into you, but into your auric field underneath the tree. Yes, you blended with the tree, and now you're bringing your light into that tree, and the tree starts to glow, starts to grow, and starts to expand more rapidly. The earth beneath you, your auric field, is beyond your physical body, penetrating the shadow of the earth beneath you, filling the earth with light. And as you retrieve your power, you're not giving it away to the tree. No, you're holding on to it, but you're emanating the energy, expanding it through your auric field, and sensing the impact that you're having on the world around you. This short, brief meditation, as depending on how vividly or how vaguely you imagined it, set in motion a message to your subconscious and unconscious mind that I'm ready to move forward in my life. I'm ready to move beyond the limitations of the past, to free myself, to move into the grand adventure of my empowered self. And that's a meditation you can repeat. Take a couple notes. It's very simple, very, step by step, kind of makes even logical sense. But you can work with that meditation. And if anybody has any questions on here, please feel free to comment on the comments below. Whether you're in my YouTube channel, you want to comment and ask a question, I'll check back periodically to see if there's any questions. And also you can IM me if you're listening on the Facebook, on my Facebook group, which is Soul-utions for Moving Beyond Struggle. So whether you're listening on YouTube or on Facebook, if you're on Facebook and you want to join my YouTube, there's lots of great videos on there. And if you're on the YouTube and you want to join my Facebook group, I offer quotes and announcements about new classes on there. So yeah, ideally join both so you can keep in touch. It's been a joy. It's been fun to share some ideas with you about moving forward in your life. And as you listen and as you do the exercises, this can provide you not only to move beyond the inertia, but to begin to set in motion the energy necessary to move forward into the grand adventure of your soul. So I hope you got some value from today. Please feel free to email me, keep in touch, and I will also be doing some more classes this week as I've just came back from vacation, haven't done a class in about 10 days. I'm looking forward to scheduling something for possibly this week. And until then, I want you to have a fantastic day. And I have enjoyed sharing these ideas with you, and I look forward to the next time that we meet. Perhaps next Sunday I'll do another Solution Sunday with a different focus, but prepare your questions, and I look forward to connecting soon. Take care now.